And welcome, I'm Tafara Gadamo. This is coffee harvest season in Ethiopia. And Ethiopian coffee varieties are well placed in the international market as the country continues to be one of the top 5 producers. What is at stake here? My guest, Gizat Worku, is the general manager of the Ethiopian Coffee Association. A very warm welcome to the program.
Thank you.
So we're talking about 1.4 billion US dollars a year in terms of revenue?
Yes, $1.42 billion.
That's a plus from last year, right?
Exactly. Last year it was around 1.33. Before that it was 1.42. The last 3 consecutive 3 years were really wonderful success stories in earning sizable amount of foreign exchange.
So are we talking about volume of export here or the international market price or both?
Both. The volume has increased. The price has increased. We have benefited a lot.
Benefited a lot means what actually are you talking about? I mean, in terms of in relation to what other countries are offering.
Ethiopia as a birthplace of coffee, supplying Arabica coffee to the world, we were supplying a very small amount of the quantity was not that much big. It is almost for more than 15 years it was around less than 200,000 tons. Recently, almost 6-7 years back, since 6-7 years back, we surpassed 200,000 tons and reached 300,000 tons, reaching within 7-8 years, getting additional 100,000 tons is really a success story.
You're talking about individual farmers, smallholder farmers from 5 or 6 key coffee producing areas in this country?
The commercial farmers are not that much big. Mostly, the Ethiopian coffee farm structure is held by smallholder farmers. It is small coffee farmers who hold 95% of the Ethiopian coffee production. So the commercial farmers are not yet coming to the big picture. We expect that they are coming because the commercial farm, very technified way of producing coffee should come. We expect that to come because to benefit, organized and held by individual coffee farmers is very important for Ethiopian coffee.
From Sidama to
the farmers you mean?
Yes.
Yes, of course. Oromia, the majority, around 70% of the coffee production, and Sidama, the southern part. I don't know how I put it in a regional way. Even Amara is producing coffee. Gambela, Benishangul is producing coffee. Almost all regions in Ethiopia except Tigray, even there is in Tigray, Somali and Afar, all regions are producing coffee. In this case, Ethiopian land available for suitable for agriculture, 27% is suitable for coffee. Out of that, 30% can produce specialty coffee. So we have a very big, huge amount of potential in producing coffee.
We have the potential, but we're not growing coffee and all this.
Exactly. What we are using is, at this time, it's around 1.2 million hectares, something like that. But the potentially which we can able to produce coffee is larger than that size of land.
Why do you think that is?
We can mention a lot of reasons. It could be awareness. It could be the substitute product. They might produce another product instead of coffee.
So you're thinking about chat, right?
Yeah, there is chat. Even eucalyptus trees substituting coffee. But coffee is still overwhelming. Culturally, we love coffee. Ethiopian coffee farmers, not for their income, why they produce coffee. They love it. Traditionally, coffee is more attached to Ethiopians. So it's not easy to uproot coffee tree. But sometimes it happens like happened in Harar or in some Sidamo areas.
Can you explain the type of coffee that's produced by regions? I mean, I've heard that there are north of 10,000 varieties of coffee in Ethiopia?
Yes, we have. More. Some researchers say around 11,000. Some say more than 10,000. But what I know is more than 6,600 varieties of coffee is kept in Jimma University.
There's a Jimma Agricultural Research.
Yeah, research center already preserved that amount of coffee varieties. So there are unique parts of Ethiopian coffee, like forest coffee, where you can't find in any coffee-producing country. So, when you see coffee trees, forest coffee trees, it doesn't look like coffee trees in any other form of coffee production.
What else makes Ethiopian coffee varieties unique?
It's naturally endowed.
It's Arabica coffee.
Yeah.
When you talk in terms of species, but then
it depends. It is natural endowment in the first place. The altitude, the soil type, the rainfall volume, edaphic conditions, the soil fertility, acidity, all that factors makes Ethiopian coffee production unique, and the varieties are there. If some coffee disease happens, our researchers doesn't face any problem, because they go to the forest coffee and pick the varieties which is not attacked by disease. So,
has that happened before?
Of course. In 1974, where the coffee disease happened in a lot of places in Ethiopia, what Jimma University researchers did is they just went to the forest, pick the trees which are not attacked by the disease. They spread that's all. But if you go to many coffee-producing countries like Brazil, Colombia, Vietnam, they are always facing these coffee disease problems.
So you also talk about specialty coffee, right?
Yes.
Can you explain?
Specialty coffee means it is traceable coffee, quality coffee, and sustainable coffee.
Traceable to the very...
Exactly. From where...
There's a very specific farm.
Exactly. The plot of land. It has to be geolocated. From which... if I tell you, the Western consumers, Gen Z, when they go to cafe, when they drink a cup of coffee, what they ask is from which farm it came, from which plot of land. So if you tell from this farmer, from this altitude, from this soil of type, you can sell that coffee at a very premium price. Yeah.
So Yirgachefe used to be top of the list.
Exactly.
Is it still the case?
Of course.
Others have come.
Others are coming. Still, it's the top. To me, the new Yirgachefe is Nensebo, who won in Cup of Excellence. Many coffee coffee farmers are won in Cup of Excellence. So even Guji, Sidamo area, all Sidamo area, even Western in Jimma area, Gera, even West Wallaga, around Amphilo, you're going to get a very good coffee types. So wherever you go in Ethiopia, the altitude matters actually, the soil type, the rainfall volume, there are many factors, the variety, but still the best coffee is found in Ethiopia.
But then when you talk about specialty coffee, you have a lot more work to do to kind of present it in such a way that it is actually specialty coffee. And that takes some time, right? It's not something that you can pick names for, right?
Exactly. Even it's not easy to make it specialty, because the picking, the harvesting type is very important. When they pick the cherries, they have to pick only red cherries. And then how they dry it up or wash it, transport it, store it, everything matters to make it specialty coffee.
Who grades it?
In Ethiopia, any capper can grade it, but officially, Ethiopian Coffee and Tea Authority is the one who is grading the coffee when someone exports it.
But there are also international actors, right?
Of course. It is international standard. Coffee grading is international standard, accepted by SCA, Specialty Coffee Association currently. So far it was, there was American and European specialty coffee associations.
Do roasters also play a role here?
Of course.
I mean, world-famous roasters?
Of course. Roasting is important ingredient in getting right coffee at your cup. When you roast it, it matters. The density of the coffee, the variety of the coffee. There are many factors, even the moisture content, the water activity, that depends how you roast it. The roasting should match with the coffee type, and then you're going to get a very good flavor.
Which are the traditional destinations for Ethiopian coffee?
Number one is Germany in volume. Now, last year, number one is Saudi Arabia, who bought the highest quantity of coffee. And USA is the best destination for Ethiopian specialty coffee. Japan, South Korea, Taiwan, even Europe, like Italy, Belgium. They're one of the best good coffee destination for Ethiopia, especially for specialty coffee.
Saudi Arabia is the last in the list to join that bandwagon, right?
No. It has the unique part of Saudi Arabia as the Ethiopian coffee destination is the highest volume of coffee bought for Saudi Arabia is Ethiopian. Almost we cover around 68% of Saudi Arabia's coffee consumption goes from here.
Why? Is it because of the proximity?
The vicinity, yes. Yeah. The type, they prefer our coffee types. They love it, our coffee types, like Limu, especially Harar. Now they are well accustomed with Nekem, especially. They love that coffee.
So is the trend going to continue like this in the years ahead?
Surely it will continue. Because the vicinity has helped us a lot. We are supplying as per requirements and demand. The quantity is there. Even the integration is there. So still the market will persist.
But then it also depends on how those coffee beans are picked, how they are stored and processed and all that stuff.
Yes.
Are Ethiopian farmers sticking to that protocol?
Yes. There are development agents who teach farmers, who coach farmers, and there are commercial farmers in the system called Outgrowers Scheme. They tell us how to pick, how to store, how to wash, how to dry up. All that kind of information is provided to farmers through these development agents or the commercial farmers themselves.
But I assume that the problems will still be there.
Of course, there is a problem because so long as we are not producing all higher grade coffees, the problem there.
How do you address them when problems like this appear? Because coffee, as you alluded to, is a very sensitive commodity, if you will.
Exactly. We cannot make all Ethiopian coffee grade 1 or grade 2. Only highest qualities, because there is lack of knowledge from farmers, from transporters, from store owners. So we cannot completely come up with best ones, but still we are improving. It is on the dynamism. What I see even recently is the quantity of higher grades, grade 1 and grade 2, is increasing. That means it is substituting grade 5.
Which is quite a progress.
Of course. It's a progress.
What do your organization, your association, the Ethiopia...
Formerly called Ethiopian Coffee Exporters Association.
It was established in 1969.
Yes.
How many members do you have?
656 members. As of today, my information is 656 coffee exporters and 11 unions who comprises of around 1.2 million coffee farmers. So we're representing almost all Ethiopian coffee sector value chain actors.
When you say exporters, do you also mean that they're farmers too, coffee producers too?
Of course. There are commercial farmers. Almost all commercial farm owners are our members because they are exporting from their commercial farm and collecting from the farmers around them. So commercial farmers, smallholder farmers, and exporters are our members.
What do you provide in your association, the oldest association?
Yeah, we provide the most important point which we provide to our members is promoting Ethiopian coffee at international market. Because it's not easy to do it by themselves alone, but as a group, we promote Ethiopian coffee at international market. We go to U.S. market, European market, Japanese, Chinese, Arabian market, Africa market even. We go there and promote Ethiopian coffee.
How do you promote this? By being present in those...
Presenting on the conference, preparing presentation papers and participating in the conferences and exhibitions. With that way, we promote Ethiopian coffee.
What do you say to someone who would argue that Ethiopian coffee varieties are well known in the world? There is nothing to promote.
It is known, but still the gap, when we analyze the gap, is it really known well? Is really consumers know Ethiopian coffee? It's not number one coffee in America. Number one coffee is Colombian coffee. So still, and even the market, if you see the amount of coffee we exported to different countries, that shows how much we are known. So there are a lot of gaps there.
What else?
Oh, we provide information to our members, like research paper, any coffee-related information. In capacity building, we train. We have a training institution. We train in cupping, in harvesting, marketing, processing. In all aspects, we train our members in capacity building. Even advocacy, we are working on advocacy.
So are you seeing the returns? Are you making a difference along that line, do you think? How do you gauge that?
Of course. When we see the steady increase of export volume, it's related to promoting at international market. We are number one. Who is going there and promoting Ethiopian coffee? Even the arbitration activities, when the coffee buyers and Ethiopian sellers disagree, we mediate there. Even on the improvement of on the advocacy part, we have done a lot. So we are there in the first bench in promoting Ethiopian coffee. So we're looking at the result.
What do international buyers, what are they looking for when you do that conversation with international buyers? What do they want to see from Ethiopian coffee going forward?
Improvement in quality. It is improving. We cannot make it in one time, but it is a process. Through time, we are improving the quality. Because for Ethiopia, even the comparative advantage, what we have is supplying very high qualities. Very high coffee qualities, grade 1, grade 2, premium coffees. We can do that, but we cannot bring it at once. But still, it's improving.
We are in the top list. We are the consumers of our own coffee, right?
Yeah.
So does that impact the volume of coffee exports to the international market?
Of course. Even the price. The local price is higher than the export price. That shows the demand, local demand is higher than the international demand for Ethiopian coffee. So it is a unique scenario as far as this local consumption is concerned.
What is the percentage of local consumption?
Almost around 50%.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the biggest.
When you compare it to other local coffee consumptions like in Brazil and Vietnam and all these top 5...
they made it.
Can you...
Yeah, but I can tell you, for example, Brazil, the second largest coffee consumer in the world, but they made it. We didn't make it. We got it. Because traditionally we drink coffee. Whether we export it, whatever we do, we drink coffee. We love coffee. That is one point, one unique selling point to the world that we can tell. We drink coffee. Just we drink coffee because we love it. It is grown up with us for the millennia. So it is different scenario. Even Thomas Jefferson in 1826 said, coffee is a drink of civilized society. It is a prophetic speech because when some country gets economic development, they start to drinking coffee, like Japan. If you go to Japan some 50, 60 years back, they're not drinking coffee. It was around, in 1950s, 60s, it was around 25,000 tons of coffee, what they were drinking. Now it is more than 450,000 tons of coffee. We see this scenario in China too. When they start the economy growing, the coffee consumption is growing. Ours is unique.
Are you a heavy coffee drinker?
Me personally, yes. I drink around 6-7 cups of coffee a day.
One final note. Your association was established in the imperial times, a totally different story from the 1970s and more so from today. Turbulent times in terms of membership, in terms of...
I see the strength of the members, especially in the dark time, representing private sector and existing in socialism. It's unique. But that shows the strength of the coffee exporters. When they start in Majesty regime, it was more of they were foreigners, and then there were Ethiopian coffee exporters, businessmen, and then there came in 1974. It was very hard time for foreign exporters to exist, but they survived. That shows the strength of Ethiopian coffee exporters who stayed for generations in coffee sector.
Gizat Worku, it was really a pleasure having you on my show. Thank you very much.
It's my pleasure. I thank you very much.